What's up? What's up? Just GS350 Chip in the house. Okay, so I'm getting my little philosophy going on here, or my psychology going on, or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, um, life is fun. It's supposed to be greater than what we're supposed to be doing now. We should be able to just stand on one side of the ocean and jump it right across it and land on another continent. Okay, this is what life is supposed to be about. Have a situation, come to a rational conclusion, create a reaction based on that rational conclusion. Your motivation. Your motivation should never be because of your feelings. That your feelings is not a instrument of, it's not a judgmental instrument. It's not nothing that you can judge, because the feelings only come through your body. You feel it because of the hormones that's going through it, and that's what it's supposed to do, stimulate your body and stuff like that. And we've been tricked into believing that. The only motivation that you need is knowing. You know something's supposed to be done, and you do it. Okay? Going to school, you're supposed to do it when you get home. You know you're supposed to study. You know you're supposed to do this. And based on all of the 1 through 4, you're going to come up with the most possible positive result that you can in that situation. And sometimes you have to make sacrifices, and sometimes you have to do things, to get the situation or the results you want from that situation. Okay. A lot of people use this anyway, but along this field, this here situation, irrational conclusion, reaction based on irrational conclusions. The feeling is going to be the adrenaline. It makes you raw, and then the endorphins makes you feel good, and you think you're doing something good, because we've been taught to react on our feelings. And like I said in the other one, most people live here. You should really live on this side. And based on your feelings, you're going to do something good. Your decision here, you're going to do the positive, most positive thing you can, or you're going to do the negative. You're going to be here, or you're going to be here. But it doesn't matter which one you're doing. Both of them, you're going to feel good, because it's all the same chemical reaction, or whatever, hormones and everything is being released. So there's no trick to it. It's just that because we don't study, or you don't study, or I don't study. A lot of people are very clueless about this. But this is something that you can figure it out yourself, because you just relax, and you can actually see the processes that you can go through and stuff. Okay, I want to talk about, like, they have for kids, when you're going to school, you have these kids that's acting wild and stuff. And what's going on in their minds is they have a situation where they're in school, and let's say if they don't understand what's going on, then the rational conclusion is to ask. But sometimes you do have some teachers in there who don't, they might pick on one particular student, or pick on a class, or don't care, or whatever, But sometimes you do have a lot of good teachers and stuff out there, doing the best that they can, And the rational conclusion for this child would be to ask. But let's say you get to like a young child, you really can't ask and stuff like that. Who can't ask, or they should ask, they don't, or whatever. But what happens is, in the class, the kid might twiddle their thumb, or jump, or just sleep, or make noise, or pretty much what we call, quote unquote, disturbing the class. And that's because his mind, that child's mind, is like programmed, got all this stuff going through it, and maybe they get nervous or something, whatever. But this releasing this adrenaline and the endorphins, the channel is open. It's stuck on open, so you got this steadily flow that's going through, and it's just energizing this kid, and this kid might start talking da 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 da. And you know how kids just get up and walk around the room, or kids start joking. You get kids in America, even out here too, they cracking jokes on the teachers and throwing things around the class and stuff like that. And that's the result of this, is because they had this this open valve that's just constantly open, you know, or they're going through from 1 to 4 to 5, and it's just constant repetition, and it's just going and going like clockwork and stuff. I have a class when I'm teaching these kids. They're at the level now where they can think of a sentence in English and they can translate it into 7 different grammatical sentences. So today we did the word bite. We did like 2 words because, you know, some of them playing too much. We were only able to translate 2 words, but into 17 different 3 words, but only into 15 different sentences. And the types are well, I'll just say the sentence. In Japanese, it's in Japanese is watashi wa enpitsu wo kamimasu. In English, the first sentence they have to make from that is I bite a pencil. Then the second one, the pencil is beautiful. You know, they got to talk about the pencil. The third is continuous since I am biting a pencil. The fourth is present and past. I have bitten a pencil. I have bitten a pencil. And then 5 is there is and stuff like that. There, I am biting a pencil, and there is a beautiful pencil. So today, well, last week we did the class, and one of the young boys, the 5th grade kid, the class is filled with, they have 5 students. One child is a 1st grader, one child is a 3rd grader, 2 kids are in the 4th, and 1 is in the 5th. The 3rd and the 5th grade are brother and sisters. They're very, very, very hyper. They play, they get up, you know, they talk a lot. You know, I'm always constantly telling them to be quiet, but I understand the fact that they are not going to excel in the class if they are quiet. And most of my students who excel in my classes are usually the noisy ones, and they usually are the noisy ones. Some of the quiet ones do excel, but the noisy ones or the active ones anyway. I call them active, but the ones physically active, but most people call them the attention disorder, whatever you guys want to call it. And most of those kids excel very, very fast. Like I said, in my English class this year, I'm teaching into a nursery school, kindergarten class, I think 25 to 30 students in 10 weeks. The 10th week, the 11th week, and the 13th week, 3 of the kids started reading English. That was only in 10 weeks, and I don't spend that much money. I don't spend that much time on phonics and the ABCs, but I do have different games that I play. And, you know, they just caught on, you know, and I don't know, it's really interesting. So anyway, today he was just saying all this blah, 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 and talking and saying this one word, because I guess he must have been watching some Japanese comedian show, and he came in class, and, you know, he probably get bored, whatever, you know, and started doing that. So I'm constantly telling him to stop. He'll get up, go to the bathroom, go in the closet, close the door, or go outside. His friends walk by and run out there and start talking to him. Well, not actually run out there, but he'll open the door. And his sister does the same thing. There's another girl who really just, 2 of the 4th graders, they play with their pencils and erasers, and they don't really pay attention. And the 1st grader, he's just, you know, he's young, so he'll just look like he's dazed or whatever, you know. But he, you know, they all understand. Today was a really interesting class. So today was the first time that they translated into English everything. I didn't write anything down in Japanese. Got the paper and wrote the word. I think the first word was believe, and they thought of their own sentence in Japanese. I believe him. Then from there they translated stuff like that. The 3rd grader was a girl. She would be definitely one of them girls that would be tested, or whatever you could word you use, as attention deficit kid, and her brother, and one girl always playing with her pen, you know. And so, you know, we went to the class and everything, and it was interesting. Everyone did well, but the 5th grader, he just kept talking the whole class, and I mean, he would participate a little bit, but for the whole class, he kept saying some word. I forgot the name what it was, and he'll make these jokes, and he'll get up, and I was like, and I'm like, sit down, stop doing that, pay attention, just give me 5 minutes, you can understand this. And I'm pleading with him, and then I started thinking like, okay, well, he got this valve open, you know, where he got this steady stream of these hormones going through him because his brain is like this and he can't really function or can't really think and stuff. But it's cool and stuff. But what's going on in your kids' minds is that they might be trying to think, but we've been programmed so much that a lot of people really don't know how to think, in a lot of situations and things like that. Or when you're especially when you're in a learning situation, you don't understand things, so you fall asleep and things like that. And that's only probably because you don't understand it, and also because you're not moving around. There's nothing that's keeping your mind active, or the enzymes or whatever it is, the electricity, whatever the spark is, keeping everything flowing. And water is really good for that. You drink a lot of water, and it's good for your brain and stuff. I read this one book called Brain Works or something by Medina, and he was talking about the same thing. It was really interesting because before I read the book and things like that, I was always thinking about this stuff, and I read and I was like, wow, it's really cool, because I was thinking the same thing, how some of these kids, I don't know, about maybe 8 years ago, I had this one kid, and she would play the whole time in class, but in, in 9 months, she was reading English like perfect. She was only 3.5 when she was doing it. By the time she turned 3, she was using a dictionary. And I was like, well, maybe this attention deficit thing, whatever they call it, really isn't that bad, And then I read the book, I think about maybe 2 or 3 years later, before. So what's going on in the class is these kids get this situation whenever they mind to come to some conclusion. And the conclusion could be whatever it is, but this is where your children are messing up in school. It's because they don't have because their valve is just constantly open. But it could be open because of all of these little programs. Like I said in my other video, they have how can I say it? You have this here. These are like sets of program chips. Okay, and within those are other chips, and everything's all connected. And so you can get to here, and you might jump on here and go over to here and jump on to number 5 to another place, and you'll be all messed up. And that's where people get schizophrenic, and it's really easy to control people. And like I said, on TV, they got these situations. You got the kids, you got watching these cartoons, these drama shows, and they create these scenes and things that that are probably do happen in life, and because how can I say that? Because it's just history. Those things are just history that's happened, but they're being able to be programmed, so you can get an early programming and stuff, and it's more controlling. So they say what are they saying? By the time a child gets in the 3rd grade, they know exactly how many jails they need to build. And that's because they have the program, and they know how these kids are, and no one's really trying to figure out how to deprogram these kids so that they can live a real life. And if the parents aren't deprogramming themselves, because you can do it yourself. I was talking to a friend, and he's going through a serious time right now, and with his marriage and stuff. And he called me, and I was telling him what to do. And basically what I told him, I said, the problem is that you created an image, and that's what we do. They create an image for us, and they have all of this stuff in there and say, this is what you're supposed to do with this image and stuff. And that's all it is. Those chips are just a whole bunch of images with pre-programmed actions that you're supposed to do. And they already got a result. They already know what's going to happen. They know your next move. That's how they're able to, they had a statistic saying that, these companies know who's going to buy what and what shoes and this and that, because this is all here. It's all programmed in your mind, and it works it's like clockwork. The reason people can't, the reason a lot of people can't stop a lot of things they're doing, these kids can't stop a lot of things they're doing, and people don't really understand it, is because of the feelings, the good feelings that they have when they're doing this. You do drugs and stuff, and you feel good about it. You know, you're drinking and you feel good about it. You know, you're fighting and arguing, you feel good about it. You're walking around bullying people, you feel good about it. You know, you don't hardly ever hear too many people saying, I feel good about studying. But that's because up here in number 4, where it says feeling, knowing, is because you don't need a flow of, you don't need your hormones flowing to motivate you to do anything. And there's no reward, how can you say it? No physical, no emotional award by doing what you're supposed to do. Now you can create your own world by getting excited, and of course you're going to think of it's going to think, I passed a test, you know, I got a rational conclusion. The reaction is I want to jump up, and then you feel yourself with the adrenaline, which is a good thing, and you just jump, whoa, I did it! Like when I was in the military, and me and this one guy went to the Philippines, and we both had to take a 5-level test, and during the practice test, he was getting like 80s and 90s, and I was getting like 70s and 80s. And then when we went and took the real test, I ended up getting a 91%, and he got like a 70 or 60 or something real low. And they was like, oh, who got did somebody got a 91%? They all turned to him, you know, the white guy, you know, but it's not a racist thing. It could be, you can look at it like that. But, you know, but I'll just say, quote unquote, to be nice, that they looked at him because of his open book test scores. Because the open book test scores, I scored in 70s and 80s, and he scored 90s. And then we had the closed test, then I scored a 91. So when they said a 91, they all looked at him like, oh, wow, you getting, you know, when you get over 90, you get a 3-day pass to use and stuff like that. And they said Airman Duncan's, boy. And I was like, it was me, Russell, because I'm happy. I'm going to jump. You know, and then I feel myself, because you can go here, I jump down here, feel myself, yeah, and I'm jumping, like, yeah. You know, and of course, I'm the only one rooting for myself and stuff, you know, and everybody all like, drop down to the boots and stuff, you know. And then, the boss, situation, and then, rational conclusion, Ralph, be quiet, you know, and based on that, all right, everybody get to attention. You know, and then maybe he was kind of sad. You know, you kind of saw the feelings going through that he was kind of sad. And then the result was, for me, Ralph, shut up. And for everybody else, get back to attention. And after, you said, you know, you got to do it, you know. So, I don't know. It was interesting. It was really an interesting situation. But it happens in life. So, here. Okay, I'm talking too much. Okay, how you fix your kids? Well, what you gotta do is you gotta deprogram. Children are easy to deprogram. How you deprogram them is you take away their toys. You put them in a situation where they have to start thinking. And when they start thinking, they're gonna start forgetting a lot of this stuff, and they're gonna get bored, and this valve is gonna shut down. And when it shuts down, they're going to be able to relax, their mind's going to open up, and then they're going to start doing their homework because they need to do it. They know they need to do it, and their mind is telling them. Because I believe that our minds, you know, we had this God thing, but I think actually what I think it is we are all gods, the upper above us, the higher level us, and the higher level us is telling us what to do so that we can go back, because I think it's all a game anyway, this life thing. But the results are, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, then, you know, the natural things are going to happen and stuff. Because that's the kind of planet we are on. I think, yeah. So, one day, my kids, I told them to do their homework, everything, and and all this stuff. So I turned off the TV, and, you know, I got on the computer and started doing things. And my son, he didn't want to study, but I was making him study anyway. You know, and I'm trying to tell him to relax, but he wants to play his games and do this, and he's just all pre-programmed because, you know, he wants this feeling to come. And that's, you know, like I said, when you're doing drugs and stuff, it's not that you want to take the drugs, it's you want this feeling, and you got this image that this drug here creates this feeling. But you can create that feeling without the drugs. Okay. And my daughter just, for some reason, got her kanji book, came to the table, and started practicing kanji. You know, and I was like, wow, you know, and like when my wife is home, I'm always telling her stop watching TV and please study, do something else, when the kids are there, but, she's constantly buying them toys and buying them this and buying them that and buying. And the other day I was teaching my son some algebra and stuff, and then she'll jump in and start, she always do that. I don't know why women do that. And I wouldn't say all women, but my first and second wife did that when I'm teaching the kids, and they jumping in and and I'm like, to the point I just tell them, just shut up, and when I'm doing this, just leave me alone, and they'll keep doing it. You gotta raise your voice, put some bass in it, so they hit those glands and stuff like that, and it'll, chill them out and stuff, And so I'm just explaining it to her. And I'm trying to help her the same thing, because even at her job, she's having problems with her staff and with her. And I'm even doing this on myself. And I'll tell you, it really works when you just stop looking at the image. And my friend who was having these problems, I told him the same thing. I said, the only problem is that you are looking at this image that you created, You created this image of what your marriage is supposed to be, instead of talking to your wife or talk to your girlfriend before you guys got married and talk about the reality of what you guys can create and how you're going to create it. Because if you would have talked about it then before, you probably wouldn't have married her. And most guys, when they meet women and stuff, that's why a lot of guys have a lot of problems picking up women, is because they'll create this. And I'm not even saying that the government, the TVs, whomever, they might be doing this stuff, but we do it to ourselves too. You meet a girl and the first thing you think, oh man, she's fine and this and that, and you start creating this image of this girl, and the conclusion she's fine, based on she's fine, and no, you see a girl, and then the irrational conclusion is that you want her, and because she's fine, because I guess somehow you jump from here to here, because seeing her created 1 through 5, and then you got here, and then you jumped over here, or something like that. Anyway, the rational conclusion is, I want her because of this image that you create in your head, and that image also went through this process, and you got this endorphins, and the criminalizing result is that you went over there to start talking to her with no skills and with your confidence. And confidence is not what you need to get a girl. Confidence, the word confidence is a belief. If you believe you can get the girl, fine, you believe all you want. But if you don't know how to get the girl, you're not going to. If you don't know the right words, you're not going to. If you don't know what to do, you're not going to get her, period. Okay? And based on your rational conclusion, you feel yourself, you're feeling good, you go over there, and the criminalizing result is she looks at you and say, no. And then you, situation, she said no, irrational conclusion, she dumped me, I'm going to get mad, release this adrenaline, and the criminalizing reaction is you cuss her out, call her whatever, and you make yourself look like a fool because she said, oh, well, I'm married, that's why I can't go out with you. And then you, bam, solution, oh, okay, realize, so she is married based on that, oh, I can't have her. And then you, number 4, you're like, oh, now I know. And then the most possible result is you can just probably say, I'm sorry, and you walk away feeling stupid, right? So, like I said, this whole process is going on with your kids. And, you got these kids walking in the streets and stuff. You guys got to sit them home and talk to them, read books with them. And you have to pretty much start with, reprogramming them, with the realization that reading is fun. Why do you read? The reason you study is not because so you can get a better job. It has nothing to do with you working. It has nothing to do with you making money and none of that stuff. If you study to make yourself a better, well-prepared person who is capable of accomplishing things based on the knowledge, okay? And without that, you're gonna have a lot of problems and stuff. So these kids that's messing up in school, and before you get your kids on drugs and take them in there, or even if your kid is on drugs, all you do is get them into a situation where they're alone, and you sit down and you let them think, let them fuel, let all that stuff just dump because it's not going to stay there. This stuff is constantly repeated. That's why you watch these movies and it's the same movie, the same plot, the same image, and blah blah blah, and it's all the same. Why? Because they know this stuff doesn't stick. Actually, your mind eventually push that stuff away. But you got it for the kids version, you got the adults version, you got this version, you got the black version, you got the white version, you got the Jewish version, you got the Christian version, you got the Islamic version, you got the Muslim version, you got this version, and if you look around the world, everybody's doing the same crazy stuff, And what's making it so bad is, adults, doing these things that they really don't have to, So these are how it really goes. And the marriages, you got them, for some reason, they created where the man is in control. The man is never in control of a relationship. It's usually always the woman. The only reason the man is in control because he has more power. But the woman, she'll just like, okay, bam, give up. And just, okay, whatever, And then the guy, he's going to get upset because his perfect image of you that he created based on, going from the solution to something, he created another solution based on that, which made him create the image in the first place, goes away, and then he's sad, heartbroken, but he's not really heartbroken, he's only sad. Why? Because that image that created that feeling is gone. So now he's empty, and he doesn't know that he should know that you don't fall in love based on the image of a woman, because usually when you fall in love, all that love is just the endorphins. That's why in my videos, do you love black men? I say, do you love black men? Because love is something you can't transfer to another person. It's something that stays in you. So you feeling good, you're like, oh, I love my wife, I love her, and you feeling good, and then you buy her a present. But just because you buy her a rose or $1,000 car, or a $50,000 car, or $100,000 diamond ring or whatever, she's not going to be able to really enjoy that emotional play, feelings, hype, activities and stuff that's going through your body. You can't transfer that through presence and stuff like that. And so that's why I say that. Now when you like is it makes you do things. Like makes you do. When you like someone, you'll do things. When you love someone, you keep it inside. You just you're getting high off your own emotions. But when you like, you actively doing things for someone, and still at the same time, it doesn't mean that they're gonna like you back. You think they should because you bought her a $50,000 pen, but it's not going to work like that. And to make things work like that, you need words. You need to know what to say, because they say 1,000 words. Now, a picture is worth 1,000 words, but one word is worth billions of pictures, images. You don't believe me? You use the word black and black, and the first thing people gonna do is think about black people, and you got all these images on China, Asia, around the world, and everything. Black. Or you get the word white. You got all these images, and probably all those images are very different. Unless they got these stereotypical ones. And so you can look at a picture of a black person, and more than likely they'll just say, oh, he's an N, and or I don't like him, or I do love him, and the words, you'll have a few words, but it's pretty much going to be the same thing, because people can focus in on the image, and because they don't have any details of what the person is, not what the person, who the person is, or anything else like that they can't really get too involved. They would have to start asking questions, well, what country he's from, or where he live, and all that stuff. But if you just say the word black, and you guys try it with your friends, just get up words and say a word and write down, let everybody talk about what they think, and I bet you're going to come up with all kinds of crazy images and stuff, and it's really interesting. And so if you want to please a girl, you guys in these bad marriages and stuff, first of all, you need to stop, go back to your wife and say, okay, when we first met, we messed up, we started doing something based on these images, and these images that we were doing things on were all wrong, and we shouldn't have done it. So let's fix this, because we had a situation where we cannot change. And so hopefully she'll say yes, and then you'll start talking sense. And I need to charge my phone, and I'm like a few inches short. So I'll have to move this up. Sorry about that. I dropped it. Anyway, and you have to sit down and really start to, how can I say that? You just have to sit down and refocus, reschedule, or whatever. You just got to do everything all over again. And it's cool, and if you got kids or something, or if you're messing around, your wife messing around, all that stuff can really stop because it's just an image. You mess around with someone because of this image that you think is good, and all you're doing, you just hormoning yourself, and that's all you're doing. That's all you're doing. And all marriages can be salvaged, but what's going to happen is you're going to have to use this. And basically what's going to happen is you're going to have to come up with this solution in your head and accept it and understand that, yes, you are the most important person on this earth. And so is your wife, and so are your kids and everything. Each of you are important, and none of you are more important than the other. However, for any of you to achieve your goals that you have, you must cooperate with each other. And when you cooperate with each other, then you'll be able to accomplish your goals. Okay? And if one girl, your wife or husband, don't want to get rid of that, and they want to go mess around, okay, fine, then you just have other things to talk about. But this is really what the problem is in the world. Racism. I made this thing about white racism and stuff, and I put it on my Facebook, and pretty much I just said what it was. It's pretty much just this, and it can disappear. If you understand this tomorrow, when you finish this video, in about an hour, you can, and you think about what's going on and things, you can change your life, and you can get out there, and you guys that are professional writers and understand, you can go to the police departments and you pass them these letters. You put this stuff on Facebook, Twitter, all of this stuff. You get it out there. It's going to pass through the. It's going to before anybody really feels what's going on. It's going to filter out through the earth, and a lot of people are going to understand it. And then once people understand it, then they're going to either voluntarily do this or do that. And if they voluntarily doing this, then that they are not trying. Their interest is not for the group or for the whole. And it's really sad though, how everything's working out. But education, everything is really simple. Life is great, but you got some people who they just need that flow, that adrenaline flowing. If you really understand what it is, because like I said in my other video about the foot massage that I made, you sit down with some socks on, rub your feet over the pegs and stuff, just sit back in a nice comfortable position, move your feet. The vibrations that's going to go through your body because of that, through your nerves or whatever, it's going to release all kinds of hormones that's not necessarily, it's not going to reach the noradrenaline. It's just going to release the other kind of hormones that's going to make you feel good, and it's going to go through your body like, I'm telling you, when you release your these other types of hormones, I'm telling you, get that machine. I have a friend on my line, Players Club line, and he said he bought one and he tried it, and he said it was so good he just had to stop. And trust me, you're gonna take breaks, and you do that, you're gonna have sex with your wife or your girl or whatever, and you're gonna think about that. The feelings, this feelings that you have when you're having sexual intercourse trying to reproduce is nothing compared to the sensations and the feelings that you're gonna have with that machine. It's like being I don't know. I guess it's like walking down well, walking is a good thing. So it's like driving riding a skateboard. I don't know. It's like being from 0 to 1. I mean, not even that. It's like a million to one. It's that much difference. And when you do it and you keep doing it, and because doing it, it's just really releases the endorphins, and you're gonna have sex, and I'm telling you, you're gonna like, oh my god, this is terrible, And then even when you're having sex, you're doing the same thing. All you're doing is creating the image, and you're thinking about something that's not really there, but because of the endorphins and stuff, and you don't know how to get those feelings and stuff. Okay, I'm doing it. When you finish, like, okay, and the guy's ready to get up, and the girl smokes a cigarette. There's all kinds of stuff. So. And basically, once you understand, if you get the massage machine and stuff like that, maybe I'm sure I know for a fact that a lot of sexual assaults and stuff will stop. It will stop. But please understand what this is. It happens in all situations. Gang banging, when you're going to school, you don't understand. The teacher telling you this, but you watch TV where you have these kids. You got these little kids who are the smart ones, and you got this one big kid, and he's a dummy, and he's beating up on the little ones, and they doing all this stuff, And there's reasons for that, because in my other video I talked about it. There is no reason why a person who is 7 foot tall, muscular, sitting around taking orders from a dude that's 5'6". That shouldn't happen, Both of you guys got the same capabilities of intelligent. Neither one of you dumb, whether you're black or white. There's no such thing as being dumb. And the only thing that's going to the only biggest difference is the power and the strength, and the tall guy is naturally going to be stronger than the short guy. So the short guy, only reason he can do what he does is because of this. It's like a weapon for the little people. It's funny. I have some friends tall and having problems out here, and I'm like, y'all better yoke up. Because these little guys, they talking all that crap because they feel with them endorphins, and that alcohol is really, letting them do it. You punch one of them in their mouth, and they gonna wake up the next day, and they gonna leave you alone. They get all their little friends, and you get your big friends, and y'all just going to start stepping on them like ants and stuff. And eventually, they'll leave you alone, until it might escalate. But the whole thing is, you get into a problem. It's always like, well, he looked at. Oh, this guy's staring at me. He think I'm a chump, huh? I'm gonna go over there and beat him up, and get over there and get your adrenaline flowing and your endorphin. Yeah, I'm pumped up, man. I'm feeling good. I'm going up, and you go over there and whoop your butt. You end up all broken up, especially if they're a doctor or it's like what's those bone doctors? I forgot what they're called, and where they can just kick like an EPOM, man. I saw when they break your bone and stuff, and you all messed up and stuff, and then somebody come along, put them back in, your joints back in place, and you're like, oh, you feeling better? You're like, oh, damn, what the hell happened, And so, I'm just running off at the mouth, but really, this really happens. Dieting, when you're eating and you're feeling good, you're feeling bad about something, the adrenaline flowing, and what happens is your body has to move, when the adrenaline flows. So you're just saying, well, I'm gonna eat, it's like moving your body and stuff. So you're just eating, because of the adrenaline is flowing through your body, and you need to constantly, because if you're just drinking water, just drinking water is the same thing. Like people get, like alcohol, same thing. They get these emotions, they start drinking the alcohol, and what they're doing is they're thinking that the adrenaline and the I don't want to erase this, but I guess I'll have to. Okay, I'll erase it. No, I won't. Yeah, I guess I'll have to. Okay, I'll use some of your space. Sorry, and I'll use some of your space. Okay, so what it is the reaction is drinking. Okay, drinking, and another one could be drugs. Okay, or another one is eating. Regardless of whatever you're doing, they all have one common. Can you guys see that? Let's see, can I go over here? Where's that space? Here. they all have one thing, number 4, that's in common. And it's number 4. I'm going to say adrenaline. I'll just say it just for lack of, I don't really know, but I think that's what it is. And the endorphins. Or if it's not these, it's if it's not these, then it's some other emotions and stuff. But I'm thinking it could be that. I want to say that because adrenaline doesn't. It just. Anyway, that's what I'm thinking it is. So you got eating, drugs, and drinking. Eating, drinking, drugs. And you're doing it because you have some irrational problem, conclusion of, or some irrational conclusion based on something, and your reaction is to drink. But what it is it's doing this, and the hormones, and it's making you feel good, and that's the only thing that they have in common. Now, if you can create this situation, based on like a massage, and you can disconnect that, or a lot of people have this image that they create in their heads, create this image, and they make it up, and they end up doing this because they want to create this feeling, this emotions, which is called, they might want to say sadness, and they're thinking, I need to do this to create that, or whatever, But I'm just saying that you have voluntarily, you can release that, and you could do that, and that's basically what you really are doing. Is you are doing that, and this stuff you don't really need, but you're being duped into thinking that you need it. But the only connection these things have is just you want that feeling. You say, okay, I'm sad, somebody left me, but ain't even that you said they left you. You just said because his image is broken, So you just gotta understand that and create another. Basically, don't create any images. You walk, like I said in my other videos about girls and stuff. You see a girl you like, you walk up to her, you say, "Hey, I'm interested in you. Are you single?" And if she says no, then say, "Oh, okay, I understand. Sorry." Or if she say yes, then you say, "Okay, I've looked at you and I see what I like, okay, and I want to get with you, but I want to make something that's perfect, or where we can understand each other. So I have these questions." And the first question you ask a woman is, how are you when you're angry? That's the number one question. You don't ask them their age. You don't even ask them their names unless they just demand you ask them their name, which I don't know why a woman would do that, since asking somebody's name is really personal business and stuff. You didn't ask them their name, like, well, isn't that personal? No, you wouldn't show me your address. Your ID card, yeah, because my address on there. Yeah, I said, yeah, but if I point over to my Ferrari over there, like that one video when the guy's joking, had the girls jump in the Ferrari. I don't watch these videos. My friends send me this, and the girl, she's jumping. One sister left her friend, and one girl was like, she was saying, "No, I'm doing something." I guess she was new, and he was new, and she's like, "No, I want to be with you." And he pointed and said, "Oh, that's my car." And she's like, "Oh, okay, I'll go." And something like that happens. Then of course, okay, you ask your name. Okay, then you say, how are you when you're angry? And if a girl say, "Well, why are you asking me that?" Then then you're gonna like, okay, bam, she just there. You can ask her again, but you can ask her, well, because I want to be with a woman who's such and such and such, but the bad ones, they're gonna say, well, you don't want to see me get angry, and you're like, oh, you're right, you leave them alone, and trust me, you can. It doesn't matter how fine these girls are and how beautiful they are, because when it comes down to when it's having sex or something, if you don't really know how to stimulate and all of that stuff, most sex is just in people's heads. They thinking about something else and whatever, and I ain't gonna lie and say I don't do it. I do it, but I've been trying to stop. And when you start to stop, you start thinking like, okay, you're going through the motions and you want to get that stimulation, and you're like thinking like, man, to get this stimulation is you got to put in some work, and it's like this article or something I read where it said that having sex 3 or 4 times is like running, I think 20 or 30 minutes worth of sex. I think it was 20 minutes worth of sex. It's like running 3 times a week. It's like running 7 miles, So you're in there doing it, and you trying to get that feeling. You thinking like, okay, now which is better? But which is better, and then eventually, there's no sensation or whatever, then most guys is all right, forget, I'm gonna go jogging, I'm going on my massage machine for about 5 minutes, and, and while it's still flowing, you get your shoes on, going out there, you run, and you still feeling good, because, I guess you got too much adrenaline, or not adrenaline, but emotions is still there, and you got that feeling, you thinking in the image that you have in your head. It's like, wow, that felt so good. Rushing to the conclusion, that felt so good. And the reaction is you create your own story, and then you going from here, and you feeling yourself. Why it's like you watching a movie of yourself doing that foot massage while you run out. Oh man, that felt good. Oh man, and you jogging and jogging and jogging and jogging and jogging. But yeah, I'm making a joke out of this, but this is it. Now, like I said in my other video, once you get in control of yourself, and once you understand, if you have people out there who understand this stuff, it's going to come down to the one basic thing, and it's going to be the knowledge. And your lack of knowledge is what's going to hurt you. And if they have enough knowledge where they can, their offense is greater than your defense, then you know what's coming. When they can't control you, they're going to come after you. It's going to be a physical thing. And if you don't have the knowledge to, because if you can build a dome or build something where everybody can put their minds together and you create some dome, somebody drop a nuclear bomb, and you know how to fuse things back together, and while it's going, everything, and it just drops into one big ball, and it's boom, fall, because it turns into a big ball, and then once it turns into a ball, it just explode into bubbles or something like that. I don't know, but basically that's it. It's your knowledge. It's your lack of knowledge that I think it's some Egyptian or something says your lack of knowledge is something that hurts you or something like that. It might be in the Bible. I don't know, but yeah. And that's why I tell a lot of people, they always complain. I say, you know what? Racism is not your problem. It's your defense. Your defense is too weak. And that's what it is. Because when it boils down to it, when you have some enemies, and if they understand this, then they have a situation. In that situation, they want to come and get you because you're blocking their progress or blocking the spreading of their DNA or whatever. Then the rest of the conclusion is come and deal with you. And based on their knowledge of your weak defenses and their strong offenses, they're going to know exactly what to do, and the most possible result is they're going to come and kick your butt. Okay? And that's the real, and that's it. So you kids, you want a good life, you have to go to school, you have to do all this stuff. But I got to go. My students coming. I'm out. Peace.